So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a lot. A lot of stocks, a lot of good stuff, a lot of bullish news for the future. We just got CPI. Yesterday's video was all about CPI, and I was right. I definitely was right, and many other people were actually right as well too. It's kind of funny because people like myself on the internet and also social media, retail baby, if you are a retail investor, retail trader, you're going to love me. And if you enjoy my content, definitely smash the like button, subscribe for more episodes. I put out videos on this YouTube channel Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. But trying to keep today's video under, let's say, 20 minutes. I have a hard time making short videos, but there's so much stuff to talk about when it comes to this stock market. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that we're basically following a trend. And people like myself on social media, whether it's on YouTube, YouTube content creators, whether it's on X, whether it's on Facebook, even StockTwix, we have gotten this stuff very, very well and rounded right. Yes, inflation, CPI, it came down significantly. All of Wall Street. Now, let me just go ahead and back up a little bit. There are a lot of people that do believe that Wall Street is corrupted to like the T, and pretty much anything they say, anything they do, it's all charades. Do I personally believe that? Yes and no. Are there some corrupt Wall Streeters out there? Absolutely. Are there some just incredibly stupid Wall Streeters that really don't know what they're doing, but they've just been handed billions and billions and billions of dollars, maybe even tens of billions of dollars to really take people's money and invest them? Believe it or not, there are Wall Streeters out there that they just buy the major indexes and they put maybe a couple percent into actual stocks, like individual stocks. I myself, I'm very much the opposite. I will put just about everything into individual stocks, not necessarily the major indexes such as the SPY, the Qs, and the IWM, the Russell, and other indexes out there as well too. But the thing about it is that Wall Streeters for the last month or so, they've been ranting and raving about how we're not going to see a drop in inflation, what the betting markets are pretty much aiming for rate hikes are very much going to be true. And then you have retail, myself and many, many other people calling a bluff. And if you are one of those people out there that called the bluff and have been buying a lot of stock, congratulations. I'm going to be showing my public profile in today's episode dedicated for this YouTube channel. And so CPI, very bullish indeed. Obviously, CPI is still very much elevated than where it was many years ago, but I mean, you're talking 2.9 down to 2.6 bullish. You're talking 3.8 was what the expectation was, and it came in with 3.5. That's also bullish. And what this also means is that the betting markets on the next Fed governor meeting in 15 days. Can you believe that? 15 days. It feels like yesterday I was listening to Kevin Walsh 2 weeks ago actually talk. I was actually getting a haircut during that, and ironically, hold on one second, 29 July, I am not getting a haircut. I'm actually getting a haircut on 30 July, the day after. And also 29 July, I believe, is SoFi's earnings as well too. Going to be talking about SoFi as well too in today's video. Yep. So 29 July, SoFi's earnings in the morning. And then we also have the Fed governor meeting. Now, yesterday, if you watched my video, it was 38% of a rate hike. What did I say in yesterday's video? If you have been watching me on YouTube all the way back in December of last year, this stuff, I'm trying to really run PG videos here, but it's kind of hard. It's straight up bullshit. But this is how the market is ran. You cannot change the market. You can't fight the market. You have to build a strategy around the market. Is the market corrupted? Oh, absolutely. I mean, the market is ran by bots. It's ran by algos. If you're new to the stock market, it's a hard thing to really accept, but if you want to make life-changing money like me, and if you want to be in this game for the long game, I've been in this game now for 6+ years, you're gonna have to endure all this stuff, okay? Soon, I'm gonna be saying that I've been in the market for 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 20 years. It's gonna be unreal. I've actually been video making on YouTube for 18 years. I can definitely say I'm almost at 20 years, but there's gonna be a point in time where I'm gonna utter the words, I've been in the market for 10, 20 years. And I'm a well-seasoned investor. I'm a well-seasoned trader. I know how to play this game. Back in December, 7, 8 months ago, there was a 25% chance that Powell would cut rates in December. Well, guess what? He cut rates by a quarter basis point in December. Do not feed into this nonsense. Now, are there times when this stuff is very accurate? Yes. But here's the problem. The problem is that yesterday, this was at 38% of getting a rate hike. Now we're at 84% chance. And tomorrow, we are getting 84% chance no rate hike. Yesterday, it was 62% chance of no rate hike. We're getting PPI, more data tomorrow. This is definitely going to move the odds, probably, in my opinion, back over to, hey, the Fed's going to hold rates. Now, going to September, obviously, we got to move more over to hold rates. Call me a little crazy. Call me a little crazy, but we very well could be looking at no rate hikes at all for this year, along with next year. Absolutely zero rate hikes. And we could potentially be looking maybe at one rate cut by the end of this year. Why do I want to put out that crazy thing about it? Is because I've seen some crazy stuff in this market, and last year, this stuff was dead wrong. 25% chance Powell was going to cut rates, and he did. So, I mean, if everything wraps up in the Middle East, and the market right now is very much looking past this stuff happening in the Middle East, I mean, you're talking about a lot of my stocks, SoFi, AMD, Hood, Palantir, Meta, ServiceNow definitely getting kicked, but the ServiceNow and Microsoft, it's very weird. Like, if the broader market's doing well, software kind of gets kicked in the nuts. It's kind of really funny. But you're talking about interest rate sensitive stocks. Obviously, SoFi, very interest rate sensitive. AMD, the semis, very interest rate sensitive, revolved around spending. Even crypto is getting a nice bounce today. Let's see, what else is over here? We see the major indexes, the SPY a little bit showing green here. You got the Qs up by 1.35%. The Russell, NASDAQ, I mean, even Bitcoin is up. Oil is freaking some people out, and I do understand this. Oil is definitely spiking higher. But as long as this stuff gets wrapped up, and as long as oil doesn't really go back to where it was, and it would be very much like, because this is the thing about it. I do not want to incorporate politics on this YouTube channel by any means necessary, but you got to talk politics because politics are at play. The Republican Party is probably more than likely going to lose something in the midterms, whether it is the House or whether it is the Senate. They may very well lose the House and the Senate, like together. Who really knows? But at the end of the day, if this stuff in the Middle East continues, or if it escalates even higher, you're going to see the Republican Party get very, very kicked in the teeth. And even though President Trump has stated that he doesn't care about the midterms, that's a load of bullshit. Like no, okay. The Republican Party would throw him under the bus like in the snap of the fingers. Just like how if a Democrat did the same thing, they would get thrown under the bus. Joe Biden, didn't he get thrown under the bus ultimately, right? A lot of people were irritated that there was no pretty much a Democratic primary. Would have been nice if we actually had a Democratic primary and not just like someone thrown out there to the people. I have a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they were very furious that the Democrats didn't actually have a problem. Oh shit, man, I'm talking politics, right? Anyways, the thing about it though, and for me personally, when it comes to political views, I'm very much like in the middle, as very much a conservative libertarian. I'm a veteran. I love my country. I'm a patriot, and I want my country to very much prosper. A lot of politicians have very much moved away from the core principles of America, man. Straight up, you gotta root for the home team. Gotta be a patriot. But anyways, oil, if it goes back, if we really do experience oil going very much to a reversal of where we fell, it's going to be very, very terrible for the market. And it's also going to be a delay of any talk of like anything. So if oil does go back into the 90s, well, then my talk of maybe one rate cut at the end of the year, that's going to turn into zero. That's going to turn into a straight up hold. The big thing about oil is that it has to be below $85 a barrel. The Federal Reserve has stated multiple times, as long as oil is $85 or lower, it's not really going to show up on too much their radar, in the sense as they're pretty much calculating inflation. It's not really going to be like detrimental. Not to mention, understand that if you look back in history, which I do, having inflation be like on the higher end of the twos, or maybe even at 3%, it's not like terrible, okay? We have operated as a country in a like not a low inflation environment before. If anything, a lot of these companies like the semis, they want inflation to very much be like higher than normal. Now, the Federal Reserve, they want inflation down to 2%. They haven't been able to get inflation down to 2% since starting this campaign of like fighting inflation since 2022. But if we look back in history, as long as inflation is not like close to 5%, yeah, that may seem a little crazy. As long as inflation is not close to 5%, the Federal Reserve is basically saying, hey, like, as long as earnings are good, as long as the economy is strong, there's really no need. We've just been operating in a zero rate interest environment after the great financial crisis of 2008 and 9. The entire economy has just been very normalized to zero interest rates. And that's pretty much what, like, it's absolutely, utterly, like, hilarious. I remember my first car loan many years ago. I actually just turned 38, so I'm talking about in my 20s, like around 2011. I ended up getting my first car loan. The interest rate were like, forget about it, like super duper low. Then I ended up buying my first house in 2017. I ended up using a FHA loan. Then I ended up refining into a VA loan during Rona crazy times. Forget about it. Even when I got my FHA loan, my mortgage was a solid 4%. Then I ended up refining, believe it was 3.5. Might have been 3.5, might have been 3.25, so somewhere around there. It was lower than my FHA. The thing about it is that we as a society have just been conditioned for lower inflation so much. And that is where a lot of like newer people, especially newer Wall Streeters, are kind of really getting like shook in the wrong way, because they don't go back and look in history. If you go back and look at history, our country is operated very differently throughout different cycles, okay? So what does this mean basically for the data that we're getting? As long as stuff opens up in the Middle East, as long as the Strait of Hormuz basically operates Now it looks like there's a lot of tension between the US and Iran once again. And if that stuff cools down, and as long as oil doesn't really spike up like crazy, going into next month, the inflation reports are going to be even lower. And then once we get into September to look at the month prior, pretty much to look at August, they're going to be even lower. And that's why I have a thesis, as long as oil doesn't return to something crazy, it could be setting ourselves up for an epic rally throughout the end of the year. This year is definitely very different than last year. Obviously, during the summertime, we went on a utter tear last year. So this year, it's very different. Now, if you've been following me on this YouTube channel for a while, you probably are aware that I'm doing a public profile for education and motivation reasons. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. So you gotta do your own due diligence. I'm just here to really post what I'm doing. And I'm also here to really show that you can take a couple 5 figs and turn it into 6 figs. This is not my first rodeo building a profile. So I started this public profile back in January of this year. It was an 18-month public profile challenge. Then it got turned into 17 months because I was depositing such a large sum of money into this account, especially during February and March. So obviously, the more money I funneled into this account, I got to lower the months because, if I just keep funneling money into this account, it's going to be unfair because eventually I'm going to be like, very, very high. But you're talking about this account is up by 51%. So, $18,500. I mean, if you bought AMD back in January, and I've been an AMD shareholder for much longer. This is my public account, like I said. My private account, I was buying AMD very much before Liberation Day last year and also during Liberation Day. I've been a SoFi shareholder since February of 2024. I'm holding a massive position of SoFi shares. My average on my private account is $7.41, baby. Oh, yeah. Very, very happy. Long-term shareholder of SoFi here. AMD, go back to my videos 4 or 5 months ago. This account was in the negative. AMD, massive growth. Does it bother me that AMD has taken over this profile and is at 45%? Hell no. Why? Because AMD is on a growth cycle, and I do plan on selling some AMD shares very much when they get to my price targets. That's probably going to be sooner than later. That could very much be at the end of this year. Very much. SoFi is a 10-year hold for me because the management team has gave me that vision of an outline. Unless the management team has really changed, and I don't really see them doing so, it's very different. This video is going to be longer than 20 minutes. I apologize, people, but so much stuff to really talk about in today's episode. Robinhood is going to shock a lot of people. I'm holding a massive Robinhood position on this account and also my private. When the market starts getting rock and rolling and people are, and when cryptocurrency swings around, which is probably going to be after December, 3 years up, 1 year down. We're on a Bitcoin cycle right now. Bitcoin and crypto goes up for 3 years. It goes down 1 year. And we're going to go right back up. But Robinhood is another one that a lot of people did not want to buy shares in the 70s and the 80s. I was buying friggin' shares of Robinhood hand over fist in the 70s and 80s several months ago. Palantir is very attractive. Very attractively priced. And I might be depositing more money here soon. And I mean, Palantir, their earnings have really caught up. And they just keep shocking people left and right. So Palantir is definitely one. I'm probably going to be adding a little bit on this account. Meta is just, they're in a weird place with the amount of money they're spending. ServiceNow, I really see them coming around in the next couple of quarters. I ended up selling out of a one software company, Adobe, a couple weeks ago now. ended up taking a loss in Adobe because, well, the company pretty much changed course a little bit. Sold it for $195. Right now, Adobe's $222. No regrets because I ended up taking that money, putting it into Palantir, putting it into ServiceNow. And I also did buy some of Coinbase. Coinbase is definitely one I want to add to. And flipping over to crypto, I actually own cryptocurrency for the first time since 2021. So I'm actually excited. If we are truly on a cryptocurrency cycle to the downside, Bitcoin may go into the 30,000s by the end of the year, and Ethereum may be $800. If that does happen, I got to find a way to buy friggin' Bitcoin, because I do believe the great Tom Lee, the bull on CNBC, Bitcoin is going to be $250,000 someday. Oh, yes, it will. Ethereum is definitely going to go back to all-time highs once we get out of this cryptocurrency slump. You're talking $4,700, but if Ethereum gets cut in half right now to $800, I'll definitely be buying another Ethereum coin. But overall, I mean, I'm very happy with the amount of stocks, the amount of crypto that I actually do own. And on a closing note for today's video, you cannot accurately 100% predict the future. But the greatest thing about the US stock market is that it is here 24/7. You, on the other hand, are not here 24/7 if you choose not to be. I've been in this market since March of 2020, and I've been in the market. 2020, 2021, I made life-changing money. And to be honest and fair, I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. All I did was take a little bit over 6 figures. Cash. I don't use margin. Straight up cash. All I did was buy all the Rona beaten down stocks. That's all I did. All I did. $10,000 here. $15,000 here. I bought all the airlines. I bought the cruise lines. I bought some cosmetic companies. I bought some staple companies. I ended up buying one bank stock, or bank rather. And like by the end of 2020, you're talking beyond a double up. Life-changing money. And then 2021, I still didn't even know what I was doing, and I still made another double up. It was crazy. 2022, ended up paying my taxes on all my gains. Actually it was March of 2022, and I made the decision to stay in the market. I could have very well said, hey, I did extremely well for myself. I chose to stay in the market. 2022, very profitable, not as profitable as 2020 and 21. 2022 was a gut check. 2022, I learned everything about fundamental analysis. I learned everything about technical analysis. 2023, I got my ass handed to me. Why did I get my ass handed to me? Because I was dabbling in penny stocks, and to be honest, I got a little greedy. 2023, I ended up taking an L. I had more losses than profits that year. So when you have more losses than profits, you don't owe anything that year. 2024 went back to my basic strategy of finding phenomenal companies with great management teams, and very much closed in the green. I made back all my losses. 2025 last year, once again, rock and rolling. This year is really going to be a coin toss. But next year is going to be epic. And I could be wrong, but I will be talking about this more probably in tomorrow's video. But theoretically, the year before a presidential election, the year before any type of election, the market has an astronomical chance of going parabolical. So stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. Going to be talking a little bit about that. But yeah, I mean, next year, I'm already thinking about this account well beyond six figures, and I'm looking at this account very much anywhere between, maybe, call me crazy, but maybe possibly 150 to 200. I know that might be crazy to really look at and saying, you know, how is that even possible? Because I can look in the future and I just can see things, and if things happen the way or nearly the way that I think it will be, because you get into phenomenal companies when everything is going crazy, like geopolitical events, then you can make life-changing money. Once again, the stock market is here 24/7, but you have to choose to be here. There are people that come in the stock market, they do a little bit of investing, trading, then they leave. No, I honestly don't believe that's financial advice. That's more so common sense. Getting in the market for a little bit, getting out of the market, it's not good. You got to stay mirrored to the market. You can't time the market. Work hard, build wealth, invest your wealth, and you're going to be just fine. All right, I'll see everyone tomorrow on another episode. If you enjoyed today's video, smash the like button, leave some comments down below if you want me to cover other stocks as well too. I will be covering one stock that someone did mention. It is related to SoFi, so definitely stay tuned for that later in the week. Love y'all, and later.